Hello, hello, travelers. Welcome in. Today, as you can see, we are back with some Tales of Time. And we are, of course, reading The Home is Where the Bodies Are, which we started last week. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot what happened. It's been a bit. No, actually, I kind of remember what happened a little bit. Um, but I'm very excited to get back into it because I can kind of like, I think, if I recall, uh, oh, is it? Oh shit, let me turn my down. Yep, there we go. Hopefully that's better. I forgot that I had turned up my thing for a game. I think it was, or what do we, for Silent Hill F, I had turned it up, and I just forgot to turn it back down for this. But that should be a bit better. It's more subtle now, hopefully. But what are you doing over there? My dog is being a weirdo. Hello, my baby, man. What's up, handsome? Oh, you're a good boy. But yeah, so I think if I can remember what happened last time. Um, Stop licking my wrist, bro. Um, we met all three of our, I say main characters, but there really seems to be one that stands out more than the other two. But we met all three of our characters, Beth, Michael, and Nicole, I think it was, is her name. I think, anyway. The three siblings, and what happened last time was the mom died at the very beginning, which brought all the siblings back together because they're gonna plan her funeral and clean out the house and all of that. And we learned like more about each character. Beth is the one that stayed the longest, and never left the town. Michael left and moved to, I think, California somewhere and became super like rich and successful. And then Nicole, she's an addict who's been struggling, but she tried to stay sober for like, or she's been sober for like a month now, and all that. And then I think we left off where the lawyer for their mom came and was like, okay, Beth gets this, Michael gets this, Nicole gets this. And he basically just split up what the mom wanted, like the last rites of the mom, basically. And then we left off there. So, oh, they all went to bed after they like drank a little bit, but that is where we left off in the story. Ew, California. That's where my brother lives right now. Is in California. That's where he's going to college. So he's living his best life out there. I'm like, ugh. I want like the California weather right now because it's like our weather's been so hectic. It's been like snow and then heat and then snow and then heat, and I'm like, can you just decide if we're gonna have like a blizzard all year or if we're just gonna go into summer now or something? But yes. Oh, my phone was doing something weird. I was looking at it. But anyway, hopefully you all had a good Thursday. My Thursday was pretty okay. I like went to work, came home, slept, and then went back to work. And now I'm here. So tomorrow I'm gonna be a little bit busy. Also tomorrow we start our new game, the Horizon Zero Dawn, that Lemus redeemed. I work with a guy from California, and he proves that stereotypes are around for a reason. Yeah. I work with someone who's from California too, and she doesn't follow any of the stereotypes, but sometimes I feel like you get her talking enough, she slips into that like that California way of talking, and it makes me laugh every time. I hope to go to the Magic Draft tomorrow. Oh, that sounds fun. Sounds very exciting. Oh, let me snooze these ads real quick. Oh, I had pizza and then Salisbury steak. Well, okay. I came home and I ate Salisbury steak for dinner, and then my dad texted and was like, "Hey, we're going to this place. Do you want any food?" And I really liked the place they go to, and I was like, "Ah, but I'm not that hungry." But then I'm like, "Ooh, but I really want the food." So I was like, "Yeah." And so they brought home my food, and so I ended up eating that, and now I'm just kind of like overstuffed. I ate too much. He complains about everything. Nothing is ever good enough, and deserves way better than what he has right now. Oh well, that's a bit crazy. Well, maybe he should move back to California then if he doesn't like it there. But all right. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to get into the book again. Speaking of, let me grab it. It's like right next to me. Also, if you hear my dog in the background, he's being a bit of a spaz right now. Because I gave him a slice of pizza earlier, so he's very happy about that. I feel like, so I'm looking at like how much we read last time, and I feel like we really just did not read that much last time, which is crazy. Like we only read like a very tiny chunk, and I'm like, I feel like maybe I was reading slow last time or something. I didn't even stop as much as I like stopped in the Leopold one. Like I stopped a lot in that one. This one I felt like I was kind of just trucking through it, so I'm surprised we're not like further into it. But anyway, before we start, of course, I'm going to go over expectations and stuff, which I always do at the beginning of my reading streams, just for those who are new, those who are just coming in, yada, yada, yada. Y'all know the drill. I feel like he can't because he spent a month inside the warehouse recovering after a car accident like a year ago. Oh, yikes. Yay, expectations. Yeah, listen up, kids. These are my expectations for story time. As you all know, number one, no spoilers. If you have read this book or you know what happens in this book, great, that's amazing. Do not spoil it for other people because they are here to enjoy the ride or get a nice, good, like, ASMR sleep thing out of it. But either way, no spoilers. Let everyone enjoy the story together. Number two, please be respectful to each other and towards me. Although, you know what? At this point, I know you guys are just little gremlins who like to bully me. So, but what I mean by respect is people may have different opinions, especially about situations that happen in the story, especially one as like dark and heavy as this one. That is completely fine. Just make sure you're not like pushing your opinion onto others and you're respecting other people's opinions as well. Because this is a safe community, okay? Okay? Anyway, had a really rough day today. I really need the stream today. Thank you for being you today. Oh, I'm sorry you had a rough day today, Wind. Hopefully my reading will just knock you out so you can start fresh tomorrow. But yeah, I'm sorry you had a rough day. I hope things get better. Yeah. Oh, literally. I'm gonna lay down. Yes, you lay down. You lay down. And then number three, make sure you check out the story. I'm not a professional reader. If you would like to hear professional reading, I'm pretty sure they have an audiobook out there for this book in particular. But if not, you should still check out the actual story, whether it be on like, I was to say the iPad, not the iPad. What is it? The Kindle, or like the actual physical book or something online, you know. Support the author and all that stuff. But yeah, those are my expectations. You guys already know them pretty well, but you know, I always like to go over them. Also, my drink of choice today is water, because your girl be thirsty today, okay? Not a professional reader. You should be on Spotify. That's, I just love that. Thank you. You know, I want to eventually, and not like that, this would be nowhere anytime soon or anything like that. I want to eventually do like, maybe like a podcast or something. I don't know, something like that you guys can listen to that's not like stream. Like I want to like kind of like branch out a little. Again, like not anytime soon. Like I want to do more with my like YouTube channel, and I want to branch out with like doing podcasts and like, I want to get back into writing again and stuff. That would be, I have been thinking about recently, writing my lore into like a story type thing, but I don't know, I'm kind of like iffy on that and stuff. You left out the best part. What did I leave out? What part did I leave out? Or are you talking to Wind? You really should. I want to read your lore. Yeah, the only thing about that is I don't know if I would like post it like chapter by chapter, or if I would just write it all and then I feel like doing it chapter by chapter, maybe like posting it like on TikTok, or I don't know, on the Discord, just posting like it chapter by chapter and stuff like that, and then eventually when it's all like completed, or like a portion of it's completed, I'll like make it into like a physical copy that you guys can get, or I'll like turn it into like a comic that you guys can look at and whatnot. But I want to expand more, but besides just streaming, I want to do more with my YouTube channel and all that stuff and all that fun stuff. But again, not anytime soon, at least not for this summer, because I'm already very busy with projects and then work, and summer's coming up, so it's even more work. So not to spam. Oh, yes, not to spam. Yes, that's part of the respect rule. Please do not spam chat. You can of course talk to each other. That's fine. You can talk about the book. You can talk about whatever. That's fine. I may not read it all the time, but please do not spam things like yes, as Skelly has so eloquently put, pussy, ass, and dick. Okay, don't spam that. Now, I might accidentally yell it in the middle of reading because I've misread a word as dick, but yes, precisely, precisely. I usually when I do when I do the reading streams, I usually have my headphones on and stuff. But I think I'm gonna not wear them today because I just don't want to listen to anything. I don't want to hear anything, and the rain noises are like I can hear them like distantly coming from the headphones. So there we go. Life is complete. I'm so glad you got the satisfaction of doing that, Skelly. But yes, I think I've yabbered on for a bit now, so we're gonna. Oh, I can't dismiss these ads coming up. Ads are coming up in about 5 minutes, but I think we're gonna go ahead and get into reading because it's already been like 10 minutes since I started talking and haven't stopped. So I'm gonna talk some more, but in the form of a story. Okay, let me get to the chapter we're in. Oh yes, speaking of, let me change the slide. We're in chapter 9, by the way. We're switching over to... Oh, yes. For those of you who may have missed it last time, this book is set up in 3 different POVs, or 3 different, like, points of view. So it's between the 3 siblings. So there's Beth, Michael, and Nicole. So we're going to be going into Nicole's POV right now. And she's the one... she's the addict one, who's been sober for, like, a month now, I think is what it said. But, yes, we're gonna go ahead and get in. We haven't started reading yet. You haven't missed anything, Lemus. I've been yabbering. You haven't missed anything. We haven't started reading yet. I'm about to read it. I'm about to start reading. But you literally have not missed anything. But if you want the quick recap so you get a refresher of like what happened last time. Basically, the mom died. The 3 siblings got together to plan her funeral and clean out the house. The lawyer came after they all reunited and was like, this person gets this person gets that, this one gets this. And now they're like, okay, now we got to clean out the house and all this. I'm not sick anymore. Yeah. I've been making her yap a lot. Yeah, I've been yapping nonstop. Also, I was not sick, okay? Oh, are you talking about yesterday? No, there was a reason I didn't stream yesterday, but next time listen when I say you're sick. No, because you know what? When you say I'm sick, I'm pretty sure you're just cursing me, and that's what's making me sick, so... Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and jump in, because like I said before, I've been yapping a little too much, so... We're gonna go ahead and get in there. It's not Lisley, miss. Yeah, I'm not sick. Anyway, Chapter 9, Nicole. Beth places a cardboard box labeled Memories on the living room floor beside me. I'm surrounded by my parents' belongings, boxes and totes strewn around, stacked 3 or 4 high. Mom kept them all these years, so they must have meant something. The ceiling creaks. Michael's up in the attic, carrying everything to the pull-down ladder that leads into the hallway. He hands them to Beth, and she brings them to the living room. It's an assembly line of sorts. Beth's idea, thanks to working in a factory her entire adulthood. If I had 2 working arms, I'd be of more use, but instead I've been tasked with sorting everything into piles. Garbage, donate, sell, and keep. I'm pretty sure my cast is more of a nuisance than it is helpful, as I don't feel any pain in my arm. It's just my ribs and face that throb, but that wouldn't stop me from carrying boxes if I could. I'm used to feeling uncomfortable, so it doesn't faze me. Hold on. No, she wasn't sick yesterday. She was watching a friend's Crush Goblins as she prepared to bring another one into the world. Yeah, that's precisely what it was, yes. Hi, welcome in, Odd House. We are currently doing a reading. We're reading Home is Where the Bodies Are, so... I don't know if you've been here for one of my reading streams. I don't think you have been. But we're in chapter 9 right now. It's about a story of like 3 siblings who come together after their mom's death, and basically they're sorting through all the stuff, and they find these weird tapes, and on the tapes it shows their parents murdering people, and now they're like, well, why the fuck did our parents murder? And then it becomes like a whole murder mystery, and they're trying to solve it, and yada yada yada. Or was playing Avatar and said, fuck you guys, this is me time. I was not playing Avatar, okay? Anyway, continuing on. I open the memories box and cough on a cloud of dust that swirls in the air. That's how memories are. Dormant dust waiting to be stirred up. Inside are dozens of VHS tapes neatly stacked on their ends. Each one labeled with dates and short descriptions like Michael's 16th birthday, Christmas 1999, and kids playing outside summer of 1990. The handwriting is neat and precise, just the way it is on our envelopes. My mother clearly cherished the memories on these tapes. I flip one over in my hand, running my fingers along the hard plastic edge. These little black rectangles hold worlds I once lived in. I so badly wish I could jump inside one of them and take up residence, return to a time when I was whole. I read through the labels, trying to conjure the memories on my own. Some are long gone. Some are crystal clear, but most are fuzzy, like when you wake up from a dream and can remember only fragments of it. I want to remember more. My eyes flick to the television in the corner of the room, where a dual VHS/DVD player sits on the shelf beneath it. A tingle runs through my hand, spreading to the tips of my fingers. "Hurry up, Michael," Beth yells from the hallway. "You're taking forever." You're not the one up in this nasty attic, Beth. There's barely a floor up here, mostly ceiling beams to navigate. His voice carries through the house. "How many more boxes?" she calls out. Michael doesn't respond right away, but I hear his footsteps shuffle along the ceiling. "How many?" Beth asks again. The ladder creaks, and I know she's scrambling up to see for herself. She's always been impatient. "Here," he roars. "There's one more tote and a Christmas tree with outdoor decorations." The ladder creaks again, and a moment later, Beth plops a box labeled Dad on the floor. She lets out a huff while her eyes scan over the living room. It's an overwhelming sight, to say the least. "What's all that?" Beth asks, gesturing to the tapes. Right now, she looks so much like Mom. I'm taken back to when I was young, peering up at our mother, thinking she had the answers to all the questions in the world. We all look at our parents that way, until we don't. My dad could do no wrong, and then he ran out on us. I never thought he'd be the type to do that. I avert my eyes, staring back at the boxes in front of me, before any tears escape. "Home videotapes," I say. Beth kneels and flips through a few, sliding them in and out of their flimsy cardboard sleeves. The inner reels rattle with the cassettes. She runs a finger along a tape labeled Summer '99. Beth would have been 16, I 15, and Michael 13. I don't remember much about that summer, but I do know that everything changed after it. Only, I don't know why. "Seems so long ago," Beth says, staring at the tape. "Yeah, a lifetime." Heavy boots clomp down the hallway, and Michael emerges carrying a tote. The old pair of red wing lace-up work boots he's wearing belong to Dad. I haven't seen them in years. They immediately conjure up a memory from my childhood. Dad coming home from work after a long day at the factory, plopping down in his recliner, feet kicked up. Beth and I would race to unlace his boots and remove them. Whoever was the fastest was declared the winner. She won most of the time. Dad always made chores and small tasks into games. I think he was trying to teach us that no matter how bad life was, it could still be fun. Maybe that was why he left us. He couldn't find the fun anymore. "Was that fast enough for you, Queen Beth?" Michael asks in a teasing voice as he walks into the room. He sets a bin labeled Journals on the floor and dusts off his hands. Beth repeats his taunt right back to him in a mocking voice. Michael cracks a smile and takes a few steps towards us. "What you got there?" She holds up the 3 tapes she plucked from the box. "Our home VHS tapes. Let's watch one. You pick, Michael. Summer '99, Nicole's birth, or Easter '96. I'm vetoing my birth. I don't feel like watching the biggest regret of my life," I say with a laugh. Ben chuckles and places the tape back in the box. "Okay, Michael. Summer '99 or Easter '96? He rubs his brow and bends over, opening up another box. "Let's just keep working." "Oh, come on." I throw my non-broken arm up in the air. "Just one tape." Michael pulls children's clothes from a box and tosses them into a black garbage bag. "I really don't want to," he says. "Why?" I ask. He lets out a huff, directing his attention to me. "Digging up the past is depressing." "We're not digging it up. We're revisiting it." I jump to my feet and swipe the Summer '99 tape from Beth. "Fine. Just one. We've got a lot more work to do," Michael says, picking up the TV remote. I smile at him and carefully slide the tape from the box. My hand shakes, the tape hovering right in front of the VCR. Maybe Michael's right. It's depressing to revisit the past and won't do any of us any good. It can't change anything. Or maybe it's just what we need. A new perspective. Closure, as they say, to a life we'll never live again. I push the tape into the VCR. It clicks, disappears inside, and then makes a humming sound while it settles into place. The TV screen flicks from black to static. And then it's 1999, and 15-year-old me is on screen. And that is the end of chapter 9. Now we're going into chapter 10. Oh, wait a minute. Have we had this person? I don't think we've had this perspective yet. Laura. I don't think we have. Who's Laura? Who that be? What year is it for the story? I don't know. It's like, I want to say it's like 2020s at least. Like, I think it's modern, because they're all, like, old. Like, they're all in their 40s and stuff, so. Well, no, okay. They revealed the age of one character. I think they said he was, like, 46. Michael, I think, is, like, 46. Yeah, I have no clue. I mean, I could look it up. Let me look it up. Let's look it up. When is the story set? Because right now they're watching the video recording. Oh, fuck. Jesus Christ. Never mind. I'm just going to stop talking. Did I? Yes, I did. What time period does home is where the bodies are take place? Let's see. Okay, yeah, so present day is what they basically say. The like story takes place in present day, but the tapes are like flashbacks, quote unquote flashbacks, but obviously it's like different time periods with the tapes and whatnot. I know, that's the whole point. Because if you fall asleep, then you can never leave, you know? Anyway, gonna continue. But this is a new perspective. Laura. We haven't had Laura yet. I'm going to assume I think Laura's the mom. Because I'm reading a little bit ahead, and it seems like she's the one holding the camcorder or the recorder. So she's probably the mom. Chapter 10, Laura. 1999. The camcorder sits heavily on my shoulder. It weighs nearly 20 pounds, but the burden is worth it because I want to capture everything I can. After losing my sister and my father before the age of 15, I know that no matter how powerful the brain is, it still forgets things. My kids hate it, always groaning at me to put away the camcorder, to stop taking photos. But one day, they'll appreciate the time and effort I put into preserving our family memories. Whatever I don't capture through video and photos, I write about in journals. Key points of each day that I cherish and even those I don't. It's important to remember both the good and the bad because together they keep us grateful and grounded. I readjust the camcorder and flick my long hair over my shoulder to stop it from being pulled. You'd think they could make these things smaller. Maybe one day they'll be as small as my hand. I press record and walk slowly into the living room, panning from wall to wall so I can remember what it looks like. The white walls are adorned with family photos, and the hanging shelves are filled with knickknacks I've picked up at resale shops and rummage sales. I just choked on my spit. Oh my god, hold on. My bad. Anyway, continuing. A tube television sits on a stand in the corner, playing a rerun of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The drapes, couch, and chair are floral printed. I've always loved flowers. There's something special about their existence. They're how we greet the ones we love and say goodbye to the ones we've lost. Nicole was seated... Ow! Sorry. I just, sliced my hand on the page. Oh, that hurt. Paper cut. Ouch. I'm just, all over the place today. My bad, guys. Sorry. Nicole is seated on the couch, dressed in wide-leg black jeans and a dragon graphic tee. She's listening to music on her Sony Discman with a pair of over-the-ear headphones. She saved up her allowance for months to buy that portable music machine. Her shoulder-length hair is crimped, her lids are covered in a heavy blue eyeshadow, and her brows are overplucked. She's told me many times that it's style, and I can't really argue with her. I was born in the bra-burning decade, then sported bell-bottoms, crochet tops, and peasant blouses during my teen years. Band-aid the cut? Yeah, I will on a bet. I will. It's not, bleeding, really, or anything. At least not yet, anyway. I'm a slow bleeder, guys. Nicole, I say. She doesn't respond because she's absorbed in her notebook, writing down poems and thoughts. She got that from me. There are some things we can't say out loud, and it's just easier to write them down. I call her name again, but her music is far too noisy. I've told her 100 times she's going to blow her eardrums out, but it falls on deaf ears. Perhaps my warning is already too late. Her head snaps up when she spots me in a peripheral view, turning off the television she's not watching anyway. I'm constantly having to remind my kids that money doesn't grow on trees. She rolls her eyes so much I think they might pop out of her head. "Mom, I was watching that," Nicole groans. "Higher" by Creed blares from her headphones as she slips them off and clicks pause on her Discman. I know the song by heart at this point because she's listened to it so often. Her personality has always been all or nothing, which worries me sometimes. 0 or 100 makes the middle, where everyday life exists, feel like a slump. "Didn't look like it," I say, steadying the camcorder and keeping her in frame. "Now, how was your last day of freshman year?" "Great," she says in a monotone voice. I tightly smile. "Because it's over," she adds with a smirk. I pull my eye from the viewfinder and give her a disapproving look. "One day, you're going to regret wishing your life away." She leans back into the cushion, placing the palms of her hands on the back of her head, elbows propped up. As if, when I'm a famous writer living in New York City, I'll be glad I wished high school away. I want to tell her to have a backup plan, to be more realistic. But I know there's a fine line between keeping your children grounded and killing their dreams. So I smile a little wider instead. My own mother encouraged practicality to a fault. Get a job, get married, have kids. There was no room left in her plan for flights of fancy. I don't regret my decisions or the life I've made, though if I could go back, I'd dream a little more. But I still would like Nicole to understand how fast life passes, even if you're not wishing it away. That realization only sets in later in life, or in some cases, when it's cut short. When the seemingly impossible becomes the possible. It came early for me, 12 to be exact, when my sister and my father were ripped from this earth, killed by a drunk driver. My life was never the same after that. I was never the same after that. Placing my eye back in the viewfinder, I center it on her. "Read me something you wrote today, Nicole." Her cheeks flush. "Mom, no," she says. "How are you going to be a writer if you don't want anyone to hear your words?" She sighs, rolls her eyes again, and flips through a couple pages in her notebook. "Fine, just a small part," she says, looking up at me. She doesn't smile, but her eyes do, and I'll take that. She buries her nose back in her journal and clears her throat. "If you're afraid of falling, you'll never fly. If you're afraid of failing, you'll never try. If you're afraid of dying, you'll never truly be alive." Closing up her journal, she shrugs. "It's rough, not really that good." You don't need to be first, honey," I say, staring directly at her. I want my daughter to really hear me, to remember these words one day when she stopped believing in herself. That day will come. It comes for all of us. And I want her to have the tools to get past that day, and any other day like it. Her brow furrows. First? The first to stand in your way. Other people are going to tell you no. They're going to tell you that you can't do something. You're not good enough. You're not worthy. You don't need to do that. Don't add to the noise, because that's all it is. Noise. You be a voice for yourself. "Have you been reading those Chicken Soup for the Soul books, Mom?" Nicole teases. She laughs, but I see the seriousness in her eyes. So I hope my words stay with her. I'm not sure they will, though. At 15, she sees me mostly as a buzzkill. I am her drill instructor, her boss, an impediment to freedom, and a barrier to the life she wants to live. Everything cool, I am the opposite. This dynamic is a rite of passage for parents and teenagers. One day she'll grow out of it. When that day comes, I might even miss her sass. I thought that said ass for a minute. It says sass. The sound of a door closing grabs my attention, and I aim the camcorder toward the kitchen. My oldest, Beth, rounds the corner. She stops and picks up 2 Blockbuster VHS rentals from the kitchen table and eyes them. Her hair is pulled back in a high ponytail, and she's dressed in a pair of stove shorts and an oversized Backstreet Boys t-shirt. Her cheeks are flushed and she's gasping, still catching her breath. "What did you rent?" she asks, holding them up. "Saving Private Ryan and A Night at the Roxbury. Your dad's been wanting to see the first one, and I figured you kids would like that Roxbury one. It's a comedy," I say. She nods and places them back on the table, and then fills a cup with water at the sink. "I wish you would have rented Psycho," Nicole groans. I pan the camcorder back to her. They didn't have any more VHS rentals, only DVDs. Why don't we just get a DVD player then? Because they're hundreds of dollars, and your father's convinced they're just a fad, I say. Yeah, but he also thought CDs were a fad, and he was wrong about that. Nicole gestured to her Sony Discman. Regardless, we can't afford it. Beth carries in a half-full glass of water and plops down in the floral-patterned chair across from the couch, swinging her legs over the arm. Where have you been? Nicole squints at her sister. On a run with Lucas. Why does Beth get to have a boyfriend and I don't? Nicole asks. Before I can answer, Beth quips, because you can't get one, loser. She laughs and gulps her water. How rude. Nicole shoots a glare at her sister. I take a couple steps back so I can fit them both in the frame. Beth, be nice. Nicole, you know the rules. No dating until you're 16. Nicole crosses her arms in front of her chest. Seems pretty arbitrary to me. I've had the same conversation with her a dozen times, but she's too keen on growing up. I wish she'd learn to slow down, because one day she'll be my age, wishing for it back. You have your whole life to date, Nicole. Don't rush growing up because you can't go backward. Only forward, I say. Yeah, and it's not like anyone is even interested in you, Beth teases. I said be nice, I warn, pursing my lips together. I can't be both nice and honest, Mom. My oldest rolls her eyes. Would you rather me lie to her? I give Beth a stern look, and she straightens up in her seat. Nicole sticks her tongue out and immediately retracts it into her mouth when my eyes land on her. She acts nonchalant by fiddling with the black rubber band bracelets on her wrist. There's a knock at the front door, interrupting their spat. Neither of my girls jump to answer it, so I round the corner from the living room into the kitchen. Christy Roberts stands on the porch, hands cupped around her big brown eyes, peering in through the screen. She's around Beth's age and lives a couple streets over. Hey, Christy, I say, pushing open the door. Smile for the camera. She takes several steps back, delivers a crooked smile, and waves at the camcorder. Hi, Miss Thomas. Her dark hair is greasy and uncombed, stopping right at her chin. I return her smile and ask, what you up to? Christy rocks back on her heels, and I notice she's not wearing any shoes. She never does in the spring or summer. I just wanted to see if Beth could come out and play. Her smile doesn't falter. A camera hangs from a strap around her neck, and a book bag is slung over her shoulders. Let me see what she's up to. I'll be right back. She nods. The screen door closes behind me as I re-enter the house, walking back into the living room. Christy's here, I say. Beth shakes her head and whispers, No, tell her I'm not here. Be nice, I whisper back. Why don't you go hang out with her for a little bit? No way. She followed me on my run, Mom. She just wants a friend. I keep my voice low. Beth is adamant, shaking her head back and forth. No, then you go be her friend, she says, slumping in her chair. I look over at Nicole, hoping she'll offer to hang out with Christy or encourage her sister to. But her headphones are back over her ears, and she's writing in her notebook. I sigh, accepting Beth's decision and feeling bad for Christy. I make my way back to the kitchen and push open the screen door again to find her waiting, still smiling. Sorry, Christy. Beth just got back from a run, so she's going to shower, and we have plans as a family after that. But maybe tomorrow, I say. She nods. Yeah, sure. I'll come back tomorrow. Her smile remains, but it's strained now. Okay, have a good night, Christy. You too, Miss Thomas, she says, turning on her foot. Her shoulders slump and her head hangs forward as she walks up the driveway. Oh, that's kind of sad. Oh. When I re-enter the living room, Beth sits up straight in her chair. Is she gone? I nod. Yeah, but she'll be back tomorrow. You should be nice to Christy. It costs nothing to be kind. Beth groans and flicks her head back dramatically. Just my reputation. Nicole notices her sister's displeasure and pulls her headphones off. What's your problem? Dead. Hi, lawyer. Mom's forcing me to do things I don't want to do, Beth chides. What else is new? Nicole rolls her eyes, teasing me. The screen door slaps against the frame, interrupting the conversation. Shoes hit the wall with a thud as each one is kicked off. All of a sudden, my youngest child's arms are wrapped around my waist. I lean down, breathing him in. It's these moments I'll cherish forever. Mikey, how was school? I ask. He pulls away and takes a couple of steps back, so I can get him in a frame. He's tall for his age, and lanky, sporting a bowl haircut his father gave him. I reminded myself to take him to a salon next time. Da bomb! That sounded so stupid. The bomb. We had an ice cream party and our class played dodgeball against the 8th graders. Totally beat them too. Bunch of weaklings. He smiles wide. Hey now, no need to be a sore winner, I say. It's better than being a loser, Nicole chimes in. I give her a disapproving look. You'd know because you are one, Beth says to Nicole. Mom, Nicole whines. I tell them to be nice to one another. Michael plops down next to Nicole on the couch. She ruffles his hair and he pushes her playfully. Since it's the last day of school, your father and I are going to order in pizza tonight to celebrate. I smile. Michael cheers, declaring he wants pepperoni. I don't eat meat, Nicole says. Since when? Beth asks. I had the same question because she ate the beef goulash I made yesterday, and she brought a ham and cheese sandwich to school today. It's a recent decision, Nicole says. Another phase for my all or nothing girl. I'll order a cheese pizza too, I say to appease her. I want sausage, Beth says. All right, 1 cheese, 1 sausage, 1 pepperoni, and 1 supreme for your dad. I smile while mulling over the numbers in my head. I already know it's more than I budgeted for, but figure I can line up groceries for the next 2 weeks to cover it. With Beth being a junior, there's one more last day of school with all 3 of them together, and eventually there won't be any more last school days. I know my children's futures are bright, but I want to live in the now, even if it is dimly lit, and we're barely scraping by, because I know now is guaranteed, but tomorrow may never come. And that is the end of chapter 10. Moving on to chapter 11. Also a hi, lawyer. I did see you pop in there. Glad to see you. Oh, this paper cut freaking burns. Ooh, it burns. I got a paper cut earlier while I was flipping the page. The book was like, ugh, fuck you. Anyway, carrying on. Chapter 11. Nicole's POV. The television screen becomes white static, and the younger versions of me, Beth, and Michael disappear. Mom's voice is back where it belongs. In the past. I glance over at Beth. Fat tears escape the corners of her eyes. She wipes them away with the back of her hand, but I've already seen them. The color in Michael's face has drained like he's seen a ghost. I guess we all have. Ghosts of the people we once were. He was right. This is depressing. Hearing Mom's voice again when she's no longer here feels wrong. Glimpsing at the past feels unnatural, as though we're not supposed to be able to. It's like looking in a mirror, but I'm not the other person staring back. That version of myself no longer exists. I swallow hard, forcing the lump of grief in my throat back down where it belongs. No one says anything. The only sound comes from the hum of the VCR as the tape continues. I get up and walk toward the television to eject it. Suddenly, the screen is black, and the date on the bottom corner reads June 15th, 1999. It feels significant, but I can't remember why it might be. I scoot away from the television, keeping my eyes glued to it. There's an outline of trees and a full moon illuminating the sky. An owl hoots from somewhere in the branches. The camcorder is unsteady as it scans the tree line. Where are you, little owl? Mom says off-screen. I grab the remote and crank up the volume. The speaker on the TV emits the sound of buzzing cicadas and squeaking bats. The camcorder zooms in slowly and scans the tree line again. Dark, thick branches reach in all directions like outstretched hands. Footsteps pound in the distance, growing louder. The camcorder swivels quickly to the right, going in and out of focus. All of a sudden, Dad's face fills the screen. He's panicked and gasping for air. Jesus, Brian, you scared the hell out of me, Mom huffs. The lens zooms out again, so Dad is in the frame from his waist up. His hand grips a flashlight, and, like the video camera, it's also shaky. He's large and burly with a full beard. Red is smeared across his white t-shirt, right around his barrel-sized chest. His eyes are wide, and the whites of them glow in the moonlight. I've never seen him look so scared before. Laura, I need your help now, he says out of breath. What? What is it? Mom's voice matches his panic. Shut that off, he yells as he turns and heads in the direction he just came from. The book demanded blood. It literally did. Several buttons click as Mom removes the camcorder from her shoulder. It's still recording, though. The picture on screen is a shaky blur of trees, grass, and shadows. The camera was pointed at Mom's white sneakers as they traveled down the concrete steps that cut through the valley. They passed the cabin and the fire pit, through the green pasture and the wooded area at the bottom of the property. She follows Dad along the bank of the creek. There's a splash, and Mom stops abruptly. The camcorder swivels toward the direction of the sound. A fish leaps in the air from the creek and splashes back into the water. She lets out a sigh. "Laura, this way," Dad says. He's in frame again, 10 yards ahead. Mom follows the path of the creek and stops a few feet behind Dad under the bridge of Highway X. He scans his flashlight along the ground. The camcorder's focus goes in and out as it tries to pick up on something. Then, all of a sudden, the picture becomes clear. A body, head cocked to the right, lips blue and bloated, skin pale as freshly fallen snow, damp blonde hair streaked with mud and blood. Wet clothes, a pair of blue jean shorts and Britney Spears t-shirt hug her small body. Mom screams. The light disappears. The screen is black again, like a nightmare you can't wake yourself up from, and all you can see is the back of your eyelids. Dad shushes her, telling her to stay calm, but even he isn't calm. "Oh my God!" Mom cries out. The camcorder hits the ground. The image of the young girl is sideways, taking her in from a new angle. Her blue eyes are clouded like they've been submerged in milk. 2 hope diamonds, fluttering to the bottom of the sea, lost forever. They stare into the lens of the camera, and it's as though she's looking directly at me, calling out for help. 23 years too late, like the light of a star that's already exploded, finally reaching our eyes. "What happened?" Mom's voice is a mix of fear, anger, and sadness. "It was an accident," Dad explains, but he doesn't sound convinced. "We need to call the cops," she cries. Every muscle in my body is taut, tightened as much as the membrane pulled over a drum. My breaths are shallow, almost non-existent. I'm sure they're barely registering with my lungs. "No, we can't," Dad says firmly. "What? Why? You said it was an accident, Brian. They won't see it that way." There's a long pause between the two of them, and the only sound of the buzzing cicadas, the squeaking bats, and water moving through the twisted creek. "Tell me what happened," Mom says. Although she's normally calm, the way her tone rises and falls tells a different story. The less you know, the better. They're shuffling off screen, shoes trudging through mud. The camcorder suspended, aimed up at the night sky. The little dead girl disappears, and a moment later, Dad is on screen. It's a close-up of him, and he's holding the video camera. "Jesus, Laura, this thing's still on. How do you erase it?" "Hit the rewind button. I'll have to record over it," Mom says in a panic. Tears cling to his eyes, but they don't escape. There's a look of confusion on his face as he fiddles with the device, and then the screen goes black. June 15th, 1999 is in the past again, but I know it won't stay there. And that was the end of chapter 11. So we finally get to see what the tape of doom is, which is, I knew that we were going to get to it because they say it in the description that they find a tape of their parents with like a dead body. But I don't know. I was trying to like really like pay attention to the details while I was reading it, and like trying to understand, like, I don't know. The dad's really suspicious. He said it was an accident, but also the way they describe the girl's body makes it sound like she's been dead for like a real long time, like a couple hours. So like, why now's the dad kind of just going, or maybe it's just like, maybe I'm just overthinking it because this is also a book, so maybe it's just like, I don't know. Anyway, on to chapter 12. We're now in Beth's POV again. A burst of air escapes my mouth as I try to catch my breath, reeling from what I just witnessed. I don't think I breathed at all while the tape played. It's real, I keep telling myself, although my mind was rejecting that notion. Instead of registering the video as fiction, as though I just watched a movie. But I know it's real, because I know the girl in the video. The little dead girl. The one that's been missing for more than half of my life. Her name is Emma Harper. Well, I guess it was Emma Harper. She was 12 when she disappeared. She was our next-door neighbor, the younger sister of my high school sweetheart, Lucas. Everyone looked for her when she went missing the summer of 1999. We searched high and low for days, weeks, months. Even then, her family didn't give up. In those early days, when she'd first gone, we combed the local nature trail, an abandoned railroad track without the tracks that run 6 miles between the Grove and Clinton. We searched nearby towns, Darien, Delavan, Sharon, Elkhorn, all of them. Flyers with her sixth grade class picture were plastered on trees, telephone poles, and front windows of local businesses. But Emma was never found, and no one knew what happened to her. I can barely finish the thought. No one knew what happened to Emma Harper, except my parents. On the day she went missing, there was a carnival at the park in the center of town. They called it the Groovin' in the Grove. My mom was the event's lead organizer. She wanted Allen's Grove to shine because that was how she saw our town, like coal before it's compressed and heated enough to form, like coal before it's compressed and heated enough to form a diamond. There were games, vendors, food fried and double fried, farm animals, even a few janky carnival rides. The Dukes of Hazzard themed bar called Boar's Nest that sits kitty corner to the park across Highway X had live local bands and drinks flowing all day for the adults. It was the biggest event this little town had ever seen. Groovin' in the Grove was a fundraiser for the park, so they could purchase playground equipment, picnic tables, and a shade shelter, as well as provide ongoing maintenance. People from the surrounding towns showed up, at least 500, triple the size of our town's population, and sometime that day, June 15th, 1999, Emma went missing. The police figured some creep slipped through the crowd, and with all the noise and excitement, they were able to kidnap a child in plain sight. No one noticed. It wasn't the first time it happened, and it certainly wasn't the last, but it was the first time it had happened here, and it left a stain on the community that would never be removed. The Groove was a place where children could ride their bikes past dark, play ghost in the graveyard in the woods, hike the nature trail, swim the crayfish and leech-infested creek, and even trespass on farmland without the worry of farmers shooting at them. Parents expected their children to return home in one piece, because children didn't go missing in a place like Allen's Grove. Until one did. I remember everything changed after that day, not only for the town, but for our family. I'd always believed Emma's disappearances hit too close to home, just across the street, or that my mother blamed herself for planning the whole event. I never in a million years would have thought my parents had anything to do with it. After all, they searched for her, alongside Nicole, Michael, and me. Shoulder to shoulder, we all walked the nature trail, the fields, and the wood. We hung missing person posters and made phone calls. We did everything we could. I remember their reassurances. Don't worry, we'll find her. The very thought of what they'd said sent a shiver down my spine. Mom even donated part of the fundraising money from the event to Emma's family. The park got its swing set, monkey bars, slides, shade shelter, picnic tables, basketball court, and several flower beds. But the Harper family never got Emma back, and they never found out what happened to her. There they are again, those words, right at the forefront of my mind. Your father, he didn't disappear. Don't trust. Disappear. That sticks out even more now. Maybe my mom wasn't offering hope that our father would return. Maybe it was a warning. Did Dad do something to Emma? Had he lied to Mom about it being an accident? Is that why she left me with those cryptic final words? My eyes flicked to Nicole. She's frozen, hand on the remote, shoulders tense, eyes wide. I saw her like this once, the first time she overdosed. But she's not dying, I remind myself. Still, this is life-altering. How she sees the world is perishing. Michael is frozen too. Nothing on him moves, not even a blink or a twitch of an eyebrow, with a sheen into his eyes, like he's holding his emotions in, trying to keep them caged. That can't be real. It must be some prank Mom and Dad were playing, Nicole says. Right? Her eyes are still wide, but now they're staring right at me. Did either of you know about this? Michael asks. He studies our faces like he's waiting for one of us to reveal a tell. I shake my head, unable to utter a single word. You think it's real? Nicole asks. Of course it's real. That's Emma Harper on that tape, and that's the day she disappeared. Michael gestures to the TV. Even though it's a blank screen, I can still see the image of her lying in the mud, covered in blood. her lifeless eyes staring into the lens of the camera, while insects crawl over her porcelain skin. How could Mom take this secret to her grave? How could she bring Emma's family casseroles, invite them over for dinners, go on a daily walk with Susan to search for her daughter, all the while knowing she was dead? Nicole stands abruptly. I don't believe it, she says, pacing the living room. Her footsteps are as heavy as the past. You saw it with your own eyes, I finally say, trying to convince myself more so than her. Michael shakes his head and gets up from his seat, disappearing into the kitchen. Mom would never... Nicole's voice cracks and her bottom lip trembles. And Dad... She doesn't finish that sentence, but I know what she was going to say. Dad would never hurt anyone. But he did. He hurt all of us when he picked up and left. Michael returns a moment later with 3 plastic cups stacked on top of one another, and the bottle of scotch. He pours more for me and him and less for Nicole, and then passes them out. We each take a gulp before speaking. Do you think that's why Dad left? Nicole's question isn't directed at either of us. Maybe he couldn't deal with the guilt anymore, Michael says. I furrow my brow. But this happened back in 1999, and he left in 2015. That doesn't make any sense. Michael's eyes meet mine. Guilt can eat you slowly or swallow you whole. He's right about that. Nicole swigs more than a mouthful of scotch. Some of the liquid slithers out of her lips and dribbles down her chin. She doesn't wipe it away. Either she doesn't notice or doesn't care. In the video, Dad said it was an accident, she says, pointing at the television. I lean forward in my chair, clutching the cup with both hands. If it were an accident, why wouldn't he just call the police? Maybe he thought he'd be held liable because it happened on his property, and he and Mom would lose everything? Michael offers. Or maybe it wasn't an accident and he just told Mom it was. As soon as the words leave my mouth, I want to suck them back in. I had the thought, but saying it out loud feels wrong. Just because Dad walked out on us doesn't make him a murderer. But perhaps I didn't know him after all. A montage of memories plays out in front of my eyes. A private viewing just for myself. Dad teaching us how to ride a bike. Dad sitting in the bleachers at my track meets. His face painted with my high school colors, blue and yellow, like he was cheering on his Green Bay Packers rather than me run round and round the track. Dad helping me reel in a bass from the creek. Dad crying with me when I blew my knee out senior year due to overtraining and malnourishment. Dad telling me just because my future wasn't going to include a full ride scholarship anymore, and that didn't mean it wasn't going to be all right. Dad walking me down the aisle. Dad holding his granddaughter, and then Dad standing over the body of Emma Harper. I shake the memories away and focus on my surroundings, trying to ground myself in the present rather than be overtaken by the past. My parents' belongings are scattered all over the floor. I wonder if any of them hold clues about what really happened the night of June 15, 1999. And then there are my siblings, who are more like strangers to me than family. Michael sits on the couch, massaging his forehead. Nicole fidgets with her fingers and continues to pace. She stops suddenly and snaps her head in my direction. Where's Emma's body now? I hadn't thought of that. What could they have possibly done with it? We all look at one another, eyes darting back and forth. Wherever it is, it must be long gone, since no one ever found her, Michael says. Maybe they buried it, or weighed it and sent it down the creek. Or maybe they cut it open and threw away one piece at a time. What the fuck is wrong with you, Michael? I practically spit. He throws a hand up defensively. What? Nicole's the one that asked the question. Yeah, but you're so crass. You really think Mom and Dad would dismember a child's body? I narrow my eyes. I don't know, Beth. Clearly they did something with it, he huffs. We all exhale like we're releasing everything we thought we knew. What do we do now? Nicole asks. Hi, Mira. Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. I am Pocket of Time. We are currently doing Tales with Time. We are reading Home is Where the Bodies Are. It's like a murder mystery. But welcome in. Let me get that shout out. Hold on, let me get that. I'm currently in my, like, bird form, so... Yes, welcome in. You guys were? Oh, what were you reading? What were you reading? Why did it not do that? Oh, it's because I freaking spelled it wrong. We like Barb. Well, thank you. Ooh, chilling ghost stories. Ooh. Why is my shout out not working? Freaking work. Let me... Okay. Yeah, there we go. But yes, we're currently in chapter 12. We just started this book last week, so we're not too far ahead of it. But basically, for those of you just joining, if you're planning on staying, I'll give you a little recap real quick. Basically, it's about 3 siblings. Beth, Michael, and Nicole. They come together after the death of their mom, and they're going through the mom's belongings in their old house, and they find a tape, and on the tape they find out that the dad and mom supposedly killed, like, the neighbor next door, basically. One of the kids that lived next door. Yes, I know. And we just finished, like, reading the chapter where we finally get to the part with the tape and they watch the tape and stuff. So, that is where we're at right now. So you guys haven't really missed too much. We literally just got into, we're getting into the nitty grittiness of it now. But yes, if you guys want to stay and chillax and listen to me read, go ahead and do that. Also, thank you for the follow, Monarch. I did see that. But if you have to go raid and run, that's completely okay too. Do whatever you need to do. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, we're reading we're reading a book about murder. It's called Home is Where the Bodies Are by Geneva Rose. So that sounds so... Oh my gosh, it's really good so far. It also switches the POV of the characters each chapter. So right now we're in Beth's chapter. She's the oldest sibling. And then Nicole is the middle child. She's an addict. And then the youngest child, Michael, left town and never contacted his family. But he became a super successful, I think, doctor in California. But then he came back because he heard that his mom died. So... But yes, we're going to continue reading, though. We're almost at the end of this chapter, so we're almost there. And then I usually stop and go over each chapter, too. So after this, like, page here, we'll go over it again. Where was I? What do we do now? Nicole asks. I don't answer because I really don't know. On one hand, I think the Harper family deserves to know what happened to Emma. But on the other, will it do them any good? Lucas moved away after high school, and his father died in a hunting accident shortly thereafter. Emma's mother, Susan, still lives in the house across the street. Her health has been declining for years. I guess it's hard to stay healthy when you have a broken heart. Mom was close with Susan, and I think knowing what Mom kept from her all these years would kill her. So maybe the truth would do more harm than good at this point. A knock at the front door startles us. 3 knocks, to be exact. They're quick and loud, the urgency reverberating through the door. My shoulders practically collide with my ears. Nicole freezes in place, staring wildly at the kitchen. Michael swallows hard, his Adam's apple rocking up and down, like a snake that's consumed too large of prey. Mom and Dad may have buried a body, but they didn't bury the past. And now, it's clearly caught up with us. And that was the end of chapter 12. Oh, thank you for the dono, Mira. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, I feel like we were... Because the last time I did a donation, I set it at 100. And it took a very long time to get there. But we're already at like $30 for this dono. I'm very, very happy about that. Thank you, thank you. Hold on. Let me change my slide. For chapter 13. But yes, hopefully your stream went well, Mira. I didn't know you were reading ghost stories today, too. Well, I guess mine's not a ghost story, but I didn't know you were doing a reading stream today, too. And that's so exciting. I'm gonna take a drink of my water. My throat be dry. Well, I'm sad I missed that. I would have loved to listen to you read. Oh my gosh, we were on the same wavelength. We really were. We really were. Alright. I'm going to go on to chapter 13 now. But chapter 12 was basically, like I said, that was a chapter where they finally watched a tape and they saw that their dad brought the mom to this place under a bridge, and like in the video it shows the body of the 13-year-old girl, and the dad was like, it was an accident, we can't call the cops, and the mom was like, well, I guess we just can't do that then. And then the tape ended, and then we were back with the siblings in present time, and they were like, what the fuck did we just watch? Our parents are psychopaths. And now they're flipping out. So mental health, love/support, and spooky reading. Hell yes, hell yes. All right, we're gonna go ahead and go on to chapter 13 now, still in the POV of Beth. My hand moves to the door handle almost in slow motion. My frame of reference shaky, like an old horror film being shot in first person. If it were a movie, surely the ghost of Emma Harper would be on the other side of the door. Or someone who knows the terrible secret my father ran off with, and my mother took to her grave. Who is it? Nicole whispers from the other room. I shush her and focus on the door, my hand hovering less than an inch away from the knob. Cupped, ready to grab, twist, and swing it open. I can see the outline of a person through the 4 square opaque windows. Our visitor is tall, at least 6'2". I'm gonna bet it's the brother of the dead girl. I'm just saying. I think it's gonna be the brother of the dead girl. With broad shoulders, shifting side to side, seemingly nervous. If they can see me, I'm sure I appear the same way to them. Nervous. I don't think when I switch on the porch light and swing open the door. Shutting off the brain is sometimes the only way to get past fear. Moths and tiny insects swarm to the golden light that hangs from the ceiling above his head. My stomach drops, then flutters up toward my lungs. My heart races faster than I used to be able to run, and my skin perspires despite the cool night air seeping through the thousands of cut-out aluminum squares on the screen that separate me from him. It's been years, more than years, and he hasn't changed. But I think when you fall in love with a person and never fall out of love, they always look the same as how you first saw them. There's that sharp jawline I always joked. There's that sharp jawline I always joked could cut through diamond, and those blue eyes that I imagined the ocean. Looked like up close. He delivers a faint smile, and I think I return one back, but I'm not sure how my face looks to him. Hey, Beth, he says. Hi, Lucas. My words come out breathy. I clear my throat and shift my stance, unsure of what to say or how to act. So I was right. It's the brother of the deceased girl. He extends his hand, and in it is a loaf of homemade banana bread, packaged in saran wrap. He stammers. We were once closer than 2 humans could possibly be, and now we're practically strangers. But there's a familiarity that strings us together, making this encounter all the more complicated. I heard about your mom. I'm so sorry. The corners of his eyes crinkle, and he drops his chin. The mention of Mom first makes my heart ache, and then is a punch to the gut as I'm shot back to reality, remembering what I just saw on the TV screen. My breathing changes. It's fast and short and uneven, like my mom's final breaths. My eyes fill with tears. I try to breathe through it, blink it away, but I don't think I'll be able to this time. I want to tell him what I just found out about his sister. I want to show him the tape, but I know it'll likely be like picking a scab, uncovering something that was already in the process of healing. And the video doesn't provide anything substantial. It doesn't tell us where her body is. It just reveals that my father had something to do with her death, whether it was an accident or not, and that my parents knew what happened to Emma Harper. Rather than reporting it, they covered it up. I need to know more before I can tell Lucas, if I ever can. Finally, I nod several times and retrieve the loaf of bread from him. It's my mom's recipe. He shoves his hands into the front pockets of his jeans. It's like he doesn't know what to do with them. I made it, so if it doesn't taste good, that's on me, Lucas adds, rocking back on his heels. He cracks a half smile, but it quickly fades. And I assume that's because of me. I'm sure I have the look of a person being interrogated for a crime they didn't commit. Thanks, is all I manage to say. When I realize I'm squeezing the soft bread, I loosen my grip, causing it to fall to the ground. I quickly bend down to pick it up. The loaf is dented and crushed where I clutched it too tightly. That's how he and I are, a misshapen thing that was once made with love and molded to perfection. Even the most perfect things crumble under pressure. Sorry, I mutter. Probably for the best. I may have accidentally used salt when the recipe called for sugar, he joked, shoving his hands deeper into his pockets. A laugh escapes me, and it feels foreign and wrong. I don't deserve the relief. How's your mom doing? I ask. He blows out his cheeks and glances to the right briefly. Some days are better than others. That's why I'm back. To take care of her. Hearing of Laura's passing really broke her today. He shuffles his feet. I didn't realize he was back in town. Last I heard, he was married and living in Wasau, a city a few hours north of the Grove. I'm not surprised he and Susan heard about my mom's passing. News travels fast around here, and bad news travels even faster. Everyone knew she wasn't doing well and that her days were numbered. Some nosy neighbors must have seen the funeral home collect her body. How are you holding up? He adds when I don't say anything. I'm okay. I'm not, but that's just what you say. He delivers a sympathetic look because he knows I'm not okay. He won't pry any further. Even though we haven't spoken in a very long time, at the core we still know each other. But my core isn't the same. It's rotten now, thanks to the sins of my parents. As I look at him, all I can see is his little sister lying dead down by the creek. I avert my gaze, first at my feet and then back at him. No, above his head. I can't look him in the eyes. He'll see right through me. Well, I just wanted to stop by and see how you're doing, so I'll leave it to it, Lucas says, rocking back on his heels again. He starts to churn, and it's then that I feel this strong pull, like we're two magnets drawn to one another. They say you should live life with no regrets, but I lived a lifetime of them, and my biggest one is standing right in front of me. Do you want to go for a walk with me tomorrow morning? Bitch, hold up. No. Beth, no, we know this family is not, like, mentally well. But the fact that she just found out her parents killed this dude's little sister and then was freaking out about it and then comes face to face with him and is like, so you, like, want to go on a date tomorrow? Fucking, that's crazy. Like, I get it. You guys were, like, you dated in high school or some shit, but be so for real right now. Why are you just gonna suddenly ask him that? Especially after your mom died, too. He's gonna be like, that's a bit weird. Anyway, I ask before I can even think about what that'll entail. Lucas stops and looks back at me. He and I used to go for morning runs, but after I blew my knee out, it was never the same. So many parts of ourselves stay raw like that, never fully healing. The corner of his lip lifts. Yeah, how about I stop over at 7? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. I just can't fathom. I don't like that. I just don't like that she was like, yeah, I'm grieving and I found out that my family killed your sister. But do you want to go on a date with me? Like, obviously he doesn't know that shit, but like she knows that. And she's taking this opportunity to be like, oh my gosh, I heard he's married, but maybe I should shoot my shot. Okay, all right, Beth, whatever you say. I nod but don't smile. I can't force my lips up. That sounds good to me. It's a date then. His cheeks flush. So our family killed someone and your family want a date, literally. It's a date then. His cheeks flush. Also, this motherfucker, reminder, these people are like 40, like mid 40s, early 40s year olds. Why is he acting like a fucking teenager right now? Maybe it's just because it's from Beth's perspective. So she's like, I don't know. Maybe she's just fucking delusional or some shit. She seems delusional. She, at this moment right now, full on delusional. That's what I'm saying. They're like in their 40s. All the characters are like, so the 3 siblings right now, they're all in their 40s. This is like set in present time. And they're basically like, this is like them in their older life. Like one of the siblings, Michael, is super successful, moved away from their small town. Beth, the oldest, stayed in their hometown, is very like, very depressed. And then the middle child, Nicole, is an addict, who also never left town. And this is it's just them older. So, Good night, Beth. He jogs down the porch steps, tossing another glance at me. I watch him walk down the sidewalk, up our long driveway, waiting to close the door until he's more than halfway up it. I exhale, hoping the guilt will expire too. But it doesn't. It's still there, sitting in the pit of my stomach, like a tumor, festering and growing. I can barely live with myself. Okay, I can barely live with myself, she says, but then asks him on it. Okay, no, I need to stop. I can barely live with myself, and I've only known for an hour. How did Mom live more than 20 years with that terrible secret? I've never liked Beth. I'm gonna be so for real with you. Since we've started reading this, I have never liked Beth. Nicole's okay. I'm okay with Nicole. I like Michael. I think Michael's like my favorite right now, but I've never liked Beth, and I don't think I ever will. This girl be Delulu, most delusional person I've read about in a while. Okay. Yes, yeah, pretty much. Anyway, we're speaking of Nicole. We are now in her POV in chapter 14. All right, chapter 14. Nicole. I flopped a slice of cheese pizza onto my plate. It doesn't taste the way pizza should. It's bland with crust that has the consistency of cardboard. Although the cheese is gooey and greasy, it brings me no joy. My taste buds are barely registering it as food. And I know it has nothing to do with the quality of the pizza. It has to do with the video of Emma Harper. I think everything is going to taste different now. Sigh, I need some drugs in Nicole's chapter. I mean, honestly, she just went through like a giant like mental blow, so my friend would love this book. They love killing off and giving her characters strange relationships after long chapters of build-up. Yeah. Oh gosh. Michael sits at the other end of the table, chewing on his second slice. Maybe it tastes the same to him. He swigs from a can of PBR after every 2 bites, so perhaps he's just forcing it down. Beth's eaten 1 slice, but stopped short of the crust. She never liked the crust, the crunchiest, hardest part of the pizza that offers nothing more than cooked dough. I think that people dislike something for one of 2 reasons. We truly dislike it, or we dislike it because it gives us an opportunity to value something else more. And when you don't have much in life, there isn't much you're able to detest before you run out of things to, well, detest. So, Beth chose crust. Michael chose this town, and I chose myself. I sipped from a cup half filled with the red wine Beth found in one of the cupboards. It tastes like vinegar, but I don't mind. My veins tingle. They always do now. A needle sliding into one that hasn't collapsed yet would be divine. It would also make all my problems go away. One bump would erase the guilt, the pain, the grief. I know Michael and Beth are thinking about the VHS tape, but I wonder how disgusted they would be if they knew what was going through my mind. I need to distract myself before my thoughts lead to action. So I look to Beth. So you're hanging out with Lucas tomorrow morning? Think that's a good idea. At least her siblings are not delusional like her, okay? Nicole's even like, bitch, you sure that's good? Because, like, we literally just found out our parents killed his sister, so. I don't know what good is anymore, she says with a shrug and sips from her glass. It's filled with warm Seagrams. She didn't even add ice, and I'm sure she's just trying to numb the pain. I shift in my chair, refolding my legs into a pretzel. Are you going to tell him about the video? I don't know, she says, staring into her glass. Michael leans back in his chair. We need to really think about what we're going to do. Beth's eyes dart to him. What do you mean? I mean, do we keep Mom and Dad's secret, or do we tell someone? It would give Lucas and Susan closure, Beth says. I squint at her. Will it, though? Or will it bring them more pain, knowing it wasn't a stranger who killed Emma? It was their neighbors, their friends. Wouldn't you give anything in the world to know what happened to Dad? She asks. If you would have asked me an hour ago, I'd say yes. I lower my head, staring down at my lap. But after seeing what Mom and Dad did, I'm not so sure I want to know what happened to him. Dad said it was an accident on the tape, Beth argues. Michael rolls his eyes. Yeah, let's just the guy that ran out on his family. He's still our dad. Her voice comes out meek and unconfident. Just because you're a parent doesn't mean you can't do bad things. Ted Bundy had a daughter, and so did the BTK killer. I'm sure their children told themselves, but he's our dad. He could never. Anyone can do anything at any time, I say, staring directly at my sister. Yeah, friggin' Beth needs to step out of Delulu land. Yikes. You're not seriously comparing Dad to the two of the most notorious serial killers in the world. She scoffs and shakes her head. I'm just saying, I shrug. Beth bites at her pinky nail, ripping off a sliver of it. She pulls it from her teeth and flicks it away. I think we should tell Susan. She deserves to know. It'll probably kill her, Michael says. He's right, I add with a nod. But it's the right thing to do, Beth says, though there's very little conviction in her voice. Just tell her this, guys, if you don't want her to say anything to Susan. Just be like, hey, if you tell Susan and she dies, the dude you're trying to hook up with is gonna hate your guts. And then I guarantee you she's gonna be like, no, yeah, that's so right. Let's not tell him. Yeah. Okay. Anyway. This is one of those situations where there isn't a right or wrong answer. You just have to pick one and convince yourself later that it was the best decision at that time. My eyes swing to Michael. What do you think? I'm not sure because we don't really know what happened. We know enough, Beth says. Each word comes out slow and punctuated. Michael drops his gaze to the beer clutched in his hands. I think we have to consider the ramifications this would have on us and on Mom and Dad before we make any decisions. What do you mean? Beth's eyes are slits. Think about it, Beth. Do you want to be known as the daughter of Brian and Laura Thomas, the couple that may have killed a child and then got rid of the body? If this gets out, you'll never be anything else. Michael swigs his drink. I don't care, she says. Well, I do. He sets the beer bottle down with a little force. It thuds against the table. I'm about to agree with Michael, but Beth cuts in. Oh, screw off, Michael. You'll scurry back to your big home in California, sip your expensive fucking scotch, and go on with your life, never having been affected by this, just like you did before. He hangs his head. A single tear runs down his... I hate Beth so damn much. Oh my god, this bitch. He hangs his head. A single tear runs down his cheek. It falls slowly, like a person trudging through land that had never been traversed. It zigzags a little, touches the corner of his lip, then dribbles the rest of the way to his chin, clinging to his jawline, refusing to drop. I agree with Michael, I say. I don't want to be known for that. It's a step up from you being a junkie, Beth mutters. I stand abruptly from my seat, sending the old wooden chair reeling backward. It smacks against the hardwood floor, causing one of the spindles to crack and break into two pieces. Screw you, Beth. You think you're so great? You work on an assembly... Is that an ad? I think that's such an ad. I hear it. Hold on. Ugh, what the hell? Oh, that's not it. Oh, did I do it? I had to restart the rain. There we go. A fucking ad started playing. Oh shit, where was I? Screw you, Beth. You think you're so great? You work on an assembly line, putting bags of frozen vegetables into boxes. Your own daughter won't even talk to you, so I'd say it would be a step up for you, too. Don't you fucking dare talk about my daughter, you crackhead. Beth shouts, pointing her finger at me. Enough! Michael slams his fists against the table, startling the both of us. Beth's eyes are wide, and her mouth is partially open, like she's about to yell at him, too. But she doesn't. Michael's tear had disappeared, either fallen onto her shirt or absorbed by the expensive material or evaporated into thin air. I take a deep breath, pick up the broken chair, and retake my seat, leaving the splintered spindle on the floor. Fighting with each other isn't going to help. Let's just finish going through everything, and if we find enough to give us an idea of what actually happened to Emma or where her body is, we'll report it. If not, we'll move on with our lives and forget we ever saw that tape, he says with a firm tone. Beth closes her mouth and purses her lips. Michael's eyes flick between us. Deal? See, I like Michael. He's smart about that. Because, like, if you think about it, like, if you were in this situation, if all you had was that, like, little bit of a tape, and, like, this all happened in the past, like, not decades, but years and years have passed, do you report it or do you not? I think he's smart because he's like, if we find more evidence and, like, that can lead to a body or something, or, like, what really happened that night, then we should report it. But if not, then what's the point of reporting it? Like, most of the family of this deceased kid is dead. The people who caused the death are dead or gone. So like, what's so I don't. I kind of agree with Michael on that, honestly. Um, where was I? I nod because that sounds right to me. The tape would only open a cold case likely. Exactly, exactly. But if you can find enough evidence to both lead to the body and explain everything that happened that night, then I would definitely turn it in and be like, hey, we were cleaning out my parents' stuff. We found this. We wanted to give this to you guys, like to the police and stuff. But just giving them a tape with like no information or anything, then it's just gonna cause like nothing really to happen because it's like again the kid like this kid died years and years ago. Like they're all like way like two what it's been like 20 years or something like that. I'm gonna say because they're in their 40s and happened when they were like teenagers. So like 20-30 years give or take. Anyway, um, Michael looks to Beth, waiting for a response. She chugs the rest of her drink and sets the glass down with force. Fine, she says reluctantly. And if we find nothing, we take you to our graves just like Mom and Dad did, right? He adds, ensuring she agrees and understands. Beth stares back at him with slightly narrowed eyes. Okay. Oh no, that bitch ain't gonna do it. She's gonna fucking tell what's his nuts, Lucas. Is it Lucas? The dude she wants to fuck. Anyway, okay. The word comes out raspy with very little conviction. I'm not sure I believe her. Oh, yeah. Ain't no one fucking believing this bitch. She gonna tell. She ain't gonna keep her mouth shut. She's never stopped loving Lucas. It was Lucas. Even when she was married. Even after all these years. And even though she hadn't seen him in more than a decade before today. I trust Michael, though. He'll honor whichever way this goes. Good. We're all in agreement, then. He nods. I leave the table and make my way to the living room where the box labeled journals is located. It's one of the few things left specifically to me. What are you doing? Beth calls out. If there are any clues as to what happened to Emma Harper, it'll be somewhere in here. I say as I take a seat on the floor and pull open the cardboard box. She delivers the faintest smile as though she's thanking me for helping her. This bitch, is she like, what? She goes from yelling at all of them being like, oh, you're a druggie, oh, you left our family, to being like, let me smile at you because you're doing the job I don't want to do. What the fuck? For helping her. But I'm not doing this for her. I'm doing it for me. Good for you, Nicole. Literally, fuck Beth. We don't like Beth in this house. I mean, it could change. Maybe, like, we're just being gaslit or something, but I don't like Beth. Anyway, we're back to Laura's POV. I'm assuming because we're reading her journals now. Alright. Chapter 15. Laura. June 15th, 1999. It's just after noon, and the sun is set high in the sky, shining bright on our little event. Perfect weather for a perfect day. I slip 8 $1 bills into the cash box and smile back at the family of 4 I've never met before. They collect their raffle tickets and make their way around the admission booth to the park. A hand taps my shoulder. Great turnout, Susan says, beaming. Her blonde hair stops an inch below her chin, and her blue eyes look like 2 robin eggs sitting in a nest, waiting to hatch. We've been neighbors since 1990, when she, her husband, and their 2 children moved into the house across the street. I remember liking Susan right away. She has one of those warm personalities that makes you feel like you're standing directly under sunlight, even when you're not. I nod and glance out at the park. It's around the size of a football field, located in the center of town, sprinkled with large ash and white oak trees. Today it's buzzing with people and excitement. The Grove feels like one of those big cities I've seen in movies and TV shows. Hundreds of people from surrounding towns have descended upon our small, unincorporated community to attend the Groovin' in the Grove fundraiser. Can't believe we pulled it off, I say, looking around, trying to take it all in. There are carnival games, food stands, a rickety roller coaster ride for children, and a tilt-a-whirl. A clown inflates balloons, twisting them into swords and poodles for the kids. Brian's voice, amplified by a microphone, cuts through all the noise. He calls out B9 as 10 tables full of people, all ages, focus on their player cards, marking their bingo sheets with dabbers. You pulled it off. Susan bumps her shoulder against me. Couldn't have done it without you. I think you could have, but I'll accept the compliment. She laughs, crinkling up her nose. Hey, let's get a quick photo, I say, gesturing for her to come closer. I remove the thick strap hanging from my neck. It's attached to a Nikon Nikon 28 Ti camera. Jesus. No, not one we could afford. Ryan surprised me with that last Christmas. I told him to take it back, that it was too much, but he claimed to have lost the receipt. I knew he was lying. He's always been a terrible liar, but he was lying for my sake because he knew I'd never spend that kind of money on myself. So I let him lie to me, and I kept the camera. Cheese, I say, holding it out as far as I can from us. We stand next to one another, arms wrapped around each other's shoulders, and smile. The camera clicks and makes a winding noise. I loop the strap back around my neck, letting the camera hang freely just above my belly button. I want a copy of that, Susan says. Of course, I'll make sure to get double prints. She thanks me, and we turn to observe the park again. I spot Nicole, dressed in a Nirvana tee and jean cutoffs that used to be a nice pair of pants. One of her father's flannel button-downs is tied around her waist. She counts down for the start of a sack race, while a line of children and even some adults stand shoulder to shoulder waiting for her to say go. Their hands clutch the potato sacks. Their hands clutch the potato sacks, holding them up to their waists, feet and legs snuggled inside. Nicole started the counting at 20, rather than 3 like we talked about, and people are starting to groan. Finally, she goes, go, and the competitors hop forward. Look at Emma, Susan beams. My eyes find her daughter, wearing a Britney Spears tee and a determined look. She quickly takes the lead, smiling and laughing, while others fall behind or fall to the ground. Go, Emma, Susan cheers. She's fast, I say. Yeah, I can barely keep up with her most days. Susan chuckles and claps for her daughter. Christy Roberts gets a burst of momentum and catches up to Emma. She's got 5 years and over a foot on her, so she has the advantage, but Emma is beyond intent on winning. The two are neck and neck, that is until Christy slips and tumbles face first into the grass. Emma's blonde hair blows in all directions as she crosses the finish line, taking first place. I don't know why I read that like that, taking the first step. She hops out of her potato sack, and Nicole holds up her arm, declaring Emma the Groovin' in the Grove sack race champion. See, they keep mentioning this girl named Christy. They mentioned it when they were watching the tape before, and they're mentioning her now. It's a little suspicious, if you ask me, that they keep mentioning this one character. Oh, I'm gonna keep an eye on that. I scan the park again, searching for my other 2 children. Although Michael is at the far end. Oh, why is although bolded? Although Michael is at the far end with his back turned toward me, I know it's him. I can spot my children from anywhere, regardless of the distance, even if my eyes were blindfolded. Mothers just know. He's in the fenced-in petting zoo, feeding a baby goat hay pellets. In the far right corner of the park, a local band kicks off their set with Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson. The stage they're performing on was supplied by the local Boar's Nest dive bar. Bartenders serve cold beer from fresh kegs, while people swig from their solo cups, swaying and dancing to the music. Mom! Mom! Emma calls out, running full speed at Susan. Look what I won! She holds up her hand, showing off a first-place blue ribbon. A mood ring-colored orange sits loosely on her slender finger. Wow! You gotta display this proudly, Susan says, pinning the ribbon to her daughter's t-shirt. We saw you out there. I raise an eyebrow and smile. You even beat a few teenage boys. And they say boys are stronger than girls. Emma giggles and slaps her knee. The egg toss is about to start. Are you playing? Susan points to a group of people halfway across the park, who are in the process of pairing up and filing into 2 lines. Yeah, I'm going to collect all the blue ribbons today, Emma says with a firm nod. She has the confidence of a girl 3 times her age, and I can already picture her taking on the whole world one day. You better get out there and find a partner then, Susan says, giving her a pat on the back. Emma turns on her heel and bolts toward the egg toss, switching between a casual skip and a full-on sprint. I scan the park again, looking for my oldest daughter, hoping she hasn't run off with her boyfriend. Have you seen Beth or Lucas? I ask. Not since earlier, when we were setting everything up. They should be around here somewhere, she says, flicking her hand. Susan doesn't worry like I do, and I envy her for that. She hasn't encountered loss like I have, so she can't fathom it. But I know the worst things the worst things always happen in an instant. And once you've experienced it, you'll forever be on the lookout, bracing yourself for it to happen again. It's both a blessing and a curse because it forces you to live in the moment, while also fearing the next. Susan places her hand on my shoulder. Why don't you go and mingle? It's my turn to watch admissions. Are you sure? Yeah, go. I'll be fine. All right, I won't be long, and I'll bring you back a corn dog, I say. A beer would be great, too. She laughs, but I know she's serious. I head deeper into the park, exchanging greetings and smiles with several people from the grove. Many compliment the event, and I respond the same way to each of them, that I couldn't have done it without all the volunteers, donations, and the other people who helped organize the whole thing. A hand taps my shoulder, startling me. I turn to find Nicole. Can I hang out with my friends now, Mom? Her arms are folded across her chest, her way of telling me she's over this. Nicole wasn't one of my willing volunteers, but she agreed when I promised to buy her that new Blink-182 CD she's been wanting. I scan the park again. Michael isn't near the petting zoo anymore. I spot him lining up for the egg toss game. Brian calls out B4 to a group of bingo players. He adds, I hope one of you wins, before the keg taps out. It garners a handful of chuckles. I shake my head and laugh at his cheesy joke. Mom, Nicole groans, stealing my attention. Where's your sister? How the heck am I supposed to know? She's probably off getting jiggy with Lucas. Getting jiggy. Oh, I have not heard that in a while. Wow. I give her a stern look and let out a heavy sigh, hoping she's yanking my chain and there's no truth to it. Beth is almost 17, and I know how teens can be, but I'm just not ready for my little girl to grow up yet. Scrutinizing the park once more, I finally spot Beth. She's slow dancing with Lucas in front of the stage, while a local band performs Amazed by Lone Star. Her hands are draped around his neck, and his arms are wrapped around her waist. They sway back and forth to the music, their eyes never leaving one another. It may be young love, but that doesn't mean it's not real love. I looked at Brian the same way at her age, and still do. I hold up the camera, placing my eye over the viewfinder, and snap a photo of the two of them, and then a few others. An egg splatting against Michael's chest, Brian pulling a ball from the bingo machine, and Nicole grimacing right in front of me. Mom, stop being a buzzkill. I release the camera, allowing it to hang from its strap again, and focus on my wild child. So, can I hang out with my friends now? Fine, but make sure you're home before dinner, and keep an eye on your brother. Yeah, she mutters as she runs toward a table full of teens her age. They're dressed similarly to her, grunge, as they call it. I only recognize one of them, a boy named Casey Doon. He and Nicole have been friends. Oh, shit, I accidentally pressed a button on my computer. There we go. Move. Have been friends since middle school, and he seems to be a good influence on her. The rest of them, I'm not so sure. Mom, Michael whines, stealing my attention. Egg yolk is splashed across his shirt. Look what they did, he says, gesturing to the mess. There are tears in his eyes, but they don't escape. He's trying not to cry. Oh, honey, I say, getting eye level with him and patting his shoulder. Why don't you go home and change quick? Just throw the dirty shirt in the washing machine, and I'll take care of it later. But I'm gonna miss the water balloon toss, he groans. No, you won't. And bring another shirt just in case, I tease. He stomps his foot, letting his head fall forward. I place my hand under his chin, lifting it, and promise him cotton candy when he returns. That garners a smile and gets him moving. He takes off across the street and down our road. I can see the mailbox from here, so I keep an eye on him until he reaches the driveway. Hey, babe, Brian calls from behind me. I turn to find him holding 2 cups of beer and wearing that boyish grin I fell in love with 20 years earlier. Dressed in a white t-shirt and a pair of Wrangler jeans, he closes the distance and leans down, planting a warm kiss on my lips. A swarm of butterflies flap their wings inside my stomach. Brian always has that effect on me. I'm proud of you, he whispers. Thanks, I say, smiling up at him. He hands me a beer. The thick, foamy head clings to my lip when I take a gulp. Need any help? He asks. I look past him out the park. My eyes land on Charles, a tall, gangly man with a horseshoe mustache, long thin hair, and a slight hunchback. He's in his 40s and lives on the corner of our street. Not only is he an eyesore, but so is his yard, which is filled with run-down vehicles he refuses to get rid of. He stands alone, staring at a group of teen girls who are attempting to create a human pyramid. Beer is clutched in one hand, and a lit Marlboro cigarette is in his other, pinched between his finger and thumb. Can you just keep an eye on things, I say to Brian. By things, I mean Charles, but I don't specify. Yeah, sure. Where are the kids? Brian asks. I tell him Michael ran home to change a shirt, and then I point toward the stage where Beth and Lucas are. For crying out loud, I groan. My gaze swings to Nicole. Damn it. What? Brian asks. His eyes follow my finger first to Beth, who is making out with her boyfriend in front of the whole damn town, and then to Nicole, who is seated at a picnic table, sipping a beer. I take a step forward, ready to march over and yell at both of them, but Brian stops me. I'll take care of it, Laura. Letting out a heavy sigh, I throw my hands on my hips. Those girls are going to send me to an early grave. Now you know how your mother felt when you and I were that age and sneaking off, knocking boots, drinking beer down by the nature trail. Brian waggles his eyebrow. Oh, stop. We weren't that bad. He kisses my forehead and whispers, I remember you being pretty bad. I giggle and smack my hand playfully against his chest. For a moment, it feels like we're teenagers again. But I like what we have now more. A deep connection threaded through decades, children, a home, and a life we've built together. I wouldn't give it up for the world. All right, time to put my stern father face on, he says, forcing his expression to turn serious. Brian plods toward Nicole like he's on a mission. He throws a silly look over his shoulder, and I can't help but laugh. Here, Mom, Michael yells. Just as I turn around, a balled-up shirt is hurling in my direction, but I catch it before it hits my face. What's this? My extra shirt, because you think I'm going to drop the water balloon, too. He rolls his eyes. I don't think that, Michael. It's just better to be prepared, I say, unfolding the shirt and hanging it over my shoulder. Whatever. He shrugs and runs away, heading toward the water balloon. Toward the water balloon toss. Observing the park again, my eyes stop on Charles. He flicks his cigarette butt and steps on it with his old, dirty work boot, grinding it into the ground. The flapping butterflies are gone from my stomach, the ones that Brian always conjures up. In their place is a sinking feeling, a warning that something bad is about to happen. I know this because I felt it before. And that is the end of chapter 15. Now we're going into chapter 16. Man, we're kind of like flying through these chapters a little bit. I was going to say, we're almost halfway. We are not almost halfway. I'm lying. I'm Charles, the guy who gives me butterflies when he stamps out a cigarette. Oh, you had that talk to me on. Oh, I'm not wearing my headphones. And I didn't see that it was a redeem. I don't have my headphones on, so I didn't hear that. But I did read it out loud. No, so... See, here's the thing. It's not really a theory, but... It's more so, I feel like they're throwing out this Charles guy as, like, more of, like, a red herring, you know? Like, they want us to, like, focus on him and be like, oh, maybe he's a suspect or something. Or maybe he knows something or did something. And maybe it's just, like, something like that. Don't worry, it didn't work anyways. Oh, it didn't? What? Oh, that's weird. What else was I saying? But then they also keep mentioning... this girl named Christy. They've mentioned her twice. And that's not a lot, I know, yes. But the fact that she's mentioned twice instead of just being like a background character, because the first time is when she came over to the house to try and hang out with Beth, but Beth turned her down. And then the next time was during the race where she fell on her face while racing. They make her like very much a background character, but the fact that they don't just call her like background character or something like that, like they specifically give her a name and focus in on her, like very briefly, yes, but they focus in on her. That's interesting to me. I'm probably just reading too much into it, but if I had a nickel for every time they mentioned Chrissy, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird. It's happened to yeah, well, okay, listen, I might just be reading a little too into it, but you never know. Like books like these, you have to pay attention to every detail. Like I was talking about earlier, like when we were reading the part where they're watching the tape and they show the body of the dead girl. The way they describe the body makes it seem like she's been dead for like hours. like hours. And the fact that the dad was like, it was an accident. We shouldn't call the cops because they're going to believe that I had a hand in it. Makes it seem like, okay, maybe he accidentally found the body. Maybe he had nothing to do with it. But it just makes it seem like that the parents were part of it, that they killed him. But what if they didn't? And now they're trying to like show from like the perspective of the mom, Laura, like, oh, this Charles guy is giving off really bad vibes. Like he's watching these girls, he's being really creepy, and so it's trying to. I feel like it's trying to create a red herring of like, oh, maybe this Charles guy had something to do with it, and not, you know what I'm trying to say. But I don't know. It's too early in the story. But I like to make theories as I go along, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, we might be able to get through, let's see, how long is this next chapter? Okay, we might be able to get through this chapter before we have to call it the night, okay? All right, chapter 16, Beth. The house is eerily quiet as I slide out of bed and slip into a hoodie and a pair of sweatpants. I don't think I slept more than a few hours last night. And even when I did, I dreamed of Mom and Dad, and those dreams quickly morphed into nightmares I couldn't wake from. The white envelope on the nightstand catches my eye, the one with my name scrawled across it in Mom's handwriting. I want to open it, find out what she had to say, but I can't. The lawyer's words return to me. You should always respect the wishes of the dead. And so, I will. We'll spread her ashes around the property the day after tomorrow, and I'll read it then. The silver key sits beside the envelope, glinting with the light from the bedside table lamp. The silver key sits beside the envelope, glinting when the light from the bedside table lamp catches it. There were no rules or last wishes surrounding the lockbox. I can open that at any time, but I'm afraid of what I'll find. I'm worried, too, about keeping our family's dark secret. It feels a little easier today, which is concerning. Yesterday, I thought I'd spew it all over the place, like a projectile vomit. Today, it's more like heartburn, crawling up my esophagus. Maybe tomorrow it'll sit in my stomach, heavy, like overprocessed food that refuses to be digested. The front door slams, startling me, and then it's quiet again. I'm sure it's Michael leaving to run errands or go to some work, or to get some work done at a cafe. I heard Nicole come out of her room sometime in the middle of the night. She rifled through some boxes and cupboards in the kitchen. I'm not sure what she was searching for, but hopefully she didn't steal anything. I retrieved the key from the bedside table, holding it in front of my eyes, examining it closely, and considering what to do with it. When I can't decide, I slide it between the mattress and the box spring, hiding it not only from myself, but also from my siblings. You can never be too careful. It was something my mother used to say, though I'm beginning to think she hadn't followed her own advice. Out in the kitchen, I pour myself a cup of coffee. Michael made it, and once again, it's too strong, coating my tongue like a thick oil. I don't know how he could possibly enjoy it. I glance at the clock on the wall, noting the time. Lucas will be here soon, and I'm both looking forward to it and dreading it. I want to be around him, but I don't know if I can be. Not really. Physically, yes. Mentally, I'm somewhere else entirely, and I'm not sure I'll ever get back to here. The rising sun seeps through the window in the living room, bathing the stacks of boxes with a warm glow. They're spread out all over the floor, some empty, some open, some still sealed. We got through about a third of them, but none of the contents gave us any further insight as to what happened the night of June 15th, 1999, except that tape. It sits on top of the VHS/DVD player, exposed and out in the open. Anyone could walk in, pop it into the player, and see it a buried truth. I consider hiding it or stowing it away, but I don't have the energy to hide anything else. And maybe I want someone to see it. The secret feels almost too heavy for the three of us to shoulder. Last night, I watched that tape 12 times, searching for a clue, something to tell me what happened before Dad led Mom to Emma's body, or what may have occurred after the recording stopped. I thought the more I watched, the more I would be desensitized to it. But I wasn't. Each viewing shocked and rattled me more than the last. I guess there are some things you can't get used to. I noticed something different each time I watched. Dad's eyes were bloodshot, like he had been crying, or maybe it was from too much drinking that night. He was never much of a drinker, though. A couple beers here or there. Mom's breathing was shallow and uncontrolled. It could have been from running from the house to the creek, or she might have just been in the midst of a panic attack. And Emma's hair was caked in blood. Some of it was dry and some of it was wet, as though it was still pooling from her head. Knuckles rapped softly against the screen door, and I meet Lucas at the threshold. He's wearing a zip-up hoodie, a baseball cap, and a pair of faded blue jeans. In each hand is a thermos, one purple, one blue. They're the same ones we used when we were teens. His smile reaches his eyes, crinkling the corners of them. "Morning," Lucas says. His voice is clear, not raspy, so I know he's been up for a while. He extends the purple thermos to me. It's cold. He remembered. I prefer my coffee iced, but I never drink it that way anymore. Too much work. Too much planning. Too many ice cubes to freeze. I involuntarily smile. "Cold and black," he adds. "Just like my heart." We both laugh, for old time's sake. "Shall we?" he asks, gesturing. I nod, and together we walk side by side down the porch steps and up the driveway. The air is cool and damp, and the sky is a gray blanket, the sun seeping through its weakest seams. Our steps are in stride, as though they never went out of sync. At the top of the driveway, I briefly look across the street, where his childhood home sits. Only it's no longer a home. It's a house. A home has joy, but they were robbed of theirs back in 1999. "So," Lucas says with a quick glance at me. He tips back his thermos. He used to take his coffee hot with 2 sugars, and I wonder if he still does. Or maybe he drinks it the same way his wife does. This bitch knows this motherfucker's married. And is like, let me shoot my shot. Okay. I don't know why I'm getting mad at that. Anyway. I wonder where she is. Perhaps at their home, waiting for him to return. "So," I say, "there are only 3 houses on this road. Ours, the Harpers, and Charles Gallagher's. Ever since my dad disappeared, I got the feeling the dead-end street was cursed, given what happened to each family that lived on it." At the stop sign, Lucas takes a sharp right. He's clearly avoiding the park. His jaw clenches and doesn't relax until we turn left on another road, leaving the park behind us. The grove is quiet. Even the birds don't sing and chirp today. Houses in this town are, for the most part, modest-sized. Many are ranch-style with large yards and tall trees sprinkled throughout. It's like any other unincorporated community you couldn't find on a map. It's just a place you're either born in or you stumble upon and wonder who could live here as you pass through. "Is your wife joining you?" I ask. It comes out meek and awkward, and I immediately regret the question. I remember seeing his wedding photos on my Facebook feed, and although they were beautiful, I cried over them. I mourned a future he and I could have had if things happened otherwise, and then I deleted my account. I didn't have much to share with the world anyway, and seeing others happy just made me sadder. He looks over at me, gauging my expression. "No, we divorced 2 years ago." His face remains neutral, like he's neither happy nor sad about it. "I'm sorry." No, she's not. I say, and I think I mean it. "Nothing to be sorry about. We just wanted different things, and I'm sorry about yours too." I nod and press my lips together. I'd assume Lucas knew about my divorce. My mom would have told his mom back when it happened. I never heard from him, though. Not that I expected to. We tread carefully down the north road. It's steep, and our feet carry us faster than we intend. Growing up, this was the place to ride your bike because it felt like you were flying. A moment of magic for a child. The entrance to the nature trail is at the bottom of the hill, and I assume that's where Lucas is leading me, because that was our spot. "What did you want?" I ask. It's not what I wanted, it's what I didn't want. I steal a glance, taking in his sharp jawline covered in stubble and those lips. I remember them being soft and warm. "And what didn't you want?" "Kids," he says, matter-of-factly. I take a sip from the thermos, unsure of how to respond. I don't remember thinking about having kids before I had one. I was only 19 when I got pregnant with Marissa. Blech. Sorry. I became a mom before I ever had a chance to consider what I wanted. But now I couldn't imagine not being one. Although our relationship is strained, and my daughter is living on the other side of the world, she and I will always be connected. It's a bond that can never be severed, for the love between a mother and her child is infinite. I still feel my mom's love even though she's gone, and even after learning what she did to Emma. Our arms brush against one another. I swallow hard, pushing the dark secret down again. We enter the nature trail, which is like a tunnel cut through woods, an old railroad track without the tracks. The ground is a mix of dirt, grass, and small rocks. Large trees on either side arch over it, creating a canopy. There's a stream off to one side, but it's dried up in most areas. Nothing lasts forever. The silence between us stretches so long that I figure the subject of kids would be changed. But then Lucas continues. After seeing what my mother and father went through with Emma when Emma disappeared, I just couldn't. My father didn't survive it, and my mom, I watched her die over and over again. Not in the literal sense, in the real sense. He pauses, glancing over at me. Feeling dead while your body still walks this earth is far worse than being dead. He doesn't have to explain what he means, because I know. The day she went missing, the police kept saying the first 48 hours are the most critical, and then it came and went, and they never mentioned it again. My mother died at the 1 month mark, the 1 year, and every year since. Maybe it's cynic in me, but I figured if I didn't have kids, I couldn't lose them. I give him a sympathetic look. It's easy to become a cynic when you live in a cynical world, where the best intentions are not true intentions, where trust feels more like a religion, not one you practice, just one you go along with in case there's a God in the end. Do you ever wish you knew what happened to her? Emma, I mean. I can't look at him when I ask the question. No, because I know she's dead, he says matter-of-factly. My breathing changes, short, fast, and uncontrolled. I inhale deeply, trying to even it out and feel a glimpse of him. His eyes are narrowed, staring at the long, dark tunnel ahead of us. There is no light at the end of it. She's been missing for 23 years, and it's highly unlikely she's just out there living her life. There's an ounce of me that believes otherwise, but if I knew what happened to her, I'd lose that crumb of hope. My eyes feel wet, and I blink until the moisture dries up. Maybe Nicole and Michael are right. It's best to leave the past in the past because knowing what's true doesn't change anything. I drink from the thermos, pushing down whatever it is that feels stuck in my throat. It could be guilt, grief, remorse. It might even be the truth. It might even be the truth. My body trying to regurgitate it like it's poison it needs to rid itself of. Mom keeps asking about her too. With the dementia, sometimes she forgets Emma ever went missing. I've had to remind her a few times, watch her grieve that loss over and over. Lucas shakes his head. But lately I lie. Tell her she's at a friend's house or out riding her bike. They're tiny moments of reprieve for her, but I think they're more for me. She'll smile and talk about Emma like she's been here the whole time. Maybe I'm wrong for that, he shrugs. I don't think you're wrong. If I could have done the same for my mom, I would have. He blows out his cheeks, and it's my turn to receive a sympathetic look. Yeah, your dad. I'm really sorry, Beth. I don't say anything, because there's really nothing to say. It's been 7 years, right? He asks. It's specific. Too specific. He clearly knows it's been that long. I nod. Neither of us say anything for nearly a minute. We just walk. Branches sway in the wind. Leaves let go one by one, cascading to the ground, finally accepting their fate. They'll break down, creating a layer of rot and decay at a tree's base, which will protect the which will protect it through the winter, absorbing rainfall and providing nutrients. Even in death, they still have a purpose. A black cat darts out of the woods 10 yards in front of us, stops suddenly, lifting a front paw and craning its neck in our direction. Its yellow eyes glow like fireflies. It continues its route, scurrying into the woods again. A black cat crossed my path the day my dad went missing, too. I remember thinking to myself, I should turn back. At least that's what people say you're supposed to do. Otherwise bad luck will find you. And it did. Lucas finally speaks. Do you ever wish you knew what happened to your dad? Yeah. I pause, looking over at him. It's the not knowing that kills me. A mixture of hope and grief is toxic, like combining ammonia and bleach. On their own, you can stand it at least for a little while, but together it's deadly. I quickly look away from him as soon as I utter the word deadly. The image of Emma's lifeless body lying down by the creek flashes before my eyes. It's horrifying, something I'll never be able to unsee. He doesn't say anything, and I wonder if I said the wrong thing. We cut out of the nature trail through a small clearing that feeds into the dead end. They call it that because it's the main road in town, and it just stops like there was no point in going any further. It's where this side of the grove ends. The other side ends on our street, just 1 mile away. Asphalt forms a circle large enough for a vehicle to turn around and go back, designed specifically for a school bus. A guardrail wraps around half of it, a warning not to venture past the barricade where the grass and trees grow wild and untamed. As children, adults told us that those who'd gone in there never came back. We didn't listen, though. We used to climb over the guardrail and dare one another to venture farther and farther. Nothing ever happened. We always came back in one piece. But it was here where they found Emma's bicycle, pink with white tassels hanging from each handlebar. It appeared months after she went missing, like the wild grass and woods had spit it up. Kids stopped crossing the guardrail after that, fearing that the warnings from our parents were true. I know now it was all a lie. All of it. I write an email to my dad every week, I say, and I don't even know why I mention it. I've never told anyone, not even Mom, because I'm embarrassed. It's like I'm a child too old to still believe in Santa Claus. Does it help? Lucas asks as we head down the main road back toward our house. I don't know. The grove is still asleep. Cars sit idle in the driveways. Drapes are drawn. Fog lingers over dewy yards. It's both peaceful and haunting. What do you write to him? Stupid stuff, really. Basically, that I would tell him if he were here. Basically, what I would tell him that if he were, tell him if he were here. Movies or shows I'm watching, books I'm reading, things that have happened around me or to me. That's not stupid. At the very least, it must be cathartic. I think Lucas is just being nice, because who sends over 300 emails without ever getting a response? My ex would say a crazy person, someone who isn't grounded in reality, someone frozen in time. And maybe he's right. Maybe I'm all of those things. Yeah, I guess. I like to think he's reading them even though he's never replied. Lucas nods and drinks from his thermos. I sent him one last night, telling him about Mom. My voice cracks just mentioning her. If he doesn't reply, I'll finally know that he's gone for good, and I'll let him go. The weight of my words forces my shoulders to drop and my lip to quiver. It's hard to swallow again, and I feel my eyes filling with tears. I don't want to cry, but it feels like I have to, like I don't have a choice in the matter. I read about crying once, when I couldn't stop after Dad left. I wanted to know why it happens or what the point of it is. What I learned is that no one knows for sure. One theory is that it tells others we are in pain, triggering a human connection. Emotional tears are thicker, fatty sacks of protein. They fall slowly, clinging to our cheeks, declaring to those around us that we need help, and we cannot cope on our own. And I think that's where I'm at. It's where I've been for a very long time. Stuck, unable to endure, to persist, to live. Lucas places a hand on my shoulder and turns to face me. He looks into my eyes, but I'm not looking back. I can't. Those fat, emotional tears escape, telling him more than I could ever say with words. But he understands, and he pulls me into his chest, resting his chin on my head as he holds me. I sob, my body quaking and trembling against his. And although I'm falling apart, somehow, I feel whole in his arms. That is why we cry. Okay, Beth, alright. That was the end of chapter 16. We're gonna call it there for tonight. I know, such a shame. It's getting really interesting, especially now when they're probably about to start trying to figure out what happened to Emma and whatnot, or something like that at least. But this book is so good so far. I really love it. We are going to go raid someone, so don't leave just yet. Also, we play our new game tomorrow, Horizon Zero Dawn, so be excited. I'm excited for it. But yes, let's see, who are we going to raid today? Let us see. Let's go raid. We're gonna go raid. I see. I know who we're gonna go raid. Give me 1 minute. 1 minute, too. Let me set up this raid. Perfect. Okay. Yes. Stream tomorrow, probably. It might be a little earlier, or it might be around the same time as our stream today. But hopefully I will see you then. If not, I will catch you in the next one. But have a good night, day, whatever it may be for you, travelers, and bye-bye.